Yo, what's up guys? Yeah, PokeaimMD here with a Kommo-o Moveset video guide for Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon. I, of course, am PokeaimMD, and you guys suggested this Pokemon next on Twitter. Basically, I asked what Pokemon you want to see next, a guide on, or an updated guide on, because I finished all the Pokemon for Ultra Sun and Moon. If you guys missed that, feel free to check out the playlist down below. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitch and Twitter, stay up to date with me, know when I stream. But Kommo received quite a few buffs in Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon, and I was pretty hyped when I saw what it got. But it's a Dragon Fighting type, which would have been broken if it wasn't Fairy types, by the way. In Generation 5 and 4, this mon would have been broken slash banned just because of its typing slash resistance alone. It has a resistance to Rock, Bug, Fire, Water, Grass, Electric, and Dark, well as it is weak to Flying, Psychic, Ice, and Dragon, and then 4 times weak to Fairy. But a very solid Pokemon with very solid stats all around the board. 110 attack, 125 defense, 100 special attack, and 105 special defense. Unfortunately, base 85 speed, so a little bit low, and then base 75 HP. But Kommo, like I said, did receive quite a few buffs in Ultra Sun and Moon. One of them being that it got a new Z move, which is the Kommo-o-Z. Now, what the Kommo-o-Z is, or does, is it's a Z move that works with Clanging Scales, and it becomes Clangorous Soul Blaze. I believe it is 185 base power, and what it does is it boosts all your stats by 1. So it's an Omni boosting Z move that's also an attack. Boost your attack, defense, special defense, and speed by 1 stage. However, keep in mind, when you use this, if your opponent switches into a Fairy type where you click the Z move, it will not work and you just wasted your Z move. So just keep that in mind when you're using this Pokemon. But Kommo-o-Z has actually been banned from the RU tier where Kommo-o currently is. So Kommo-o is still an RU, but they banned this item for good reason. So we're going to be talking about it for a perspective of UU, and then we'll be going on to some RU sets that I made. And this Pokemon can very well work in OU with a set similar to this. Just keep in mind there are a lot of Fairy types, and when I was playing versus it, I just kept throwing in my Fairy type until it eventually did go for the Z move and wasn't able to use it. Obviously, you can wear them down with Poison Jab and whatnot, so just keep that in mind when you're using it. But the first set we have is the Omni Dance set that I've been having a lot of success with in the UU tier. So it uses Clanging Scales, Drain Punch, Poison Jab, and Dragon Dance. The idea of this is to set up with with your Kommo-o-Z, but also Dragon Dance up as well. Now, Soundproof is the preferred ability because this actually allows you to set up on Sylveon because Hyper Voice doesn't work. Since this Pokemon is immune to sound-based moves. I also like Soundproof a lot because Pokemon cannot roar you out. I had a few times where Empoleon was actually trying to phase me out, expecting me to set up. Soundproof blocked that. I mean, it has 2 other great abilities. Bulletproof, it blocks Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb, Focus Blast. Unfortunately, it doesn't block Moon Blast, which sucks, even though it's a giant like ball coming at you. But yeah, and also Overcoat, which blocks powder moves like Spore, Sleep Powder, and then of course Sandstorm and Hail damage. But I like Soundproof a lot on this. I think being able to set up on Sylveon, especially in the UU tier, is really cool. Also avoiding Roar is sick. So Clanging Scales, Drain Punch, Poison Jab, Dragon Dance. Max Speed is preferred. The 56 special attack allow you to knock out Latias at +1 after you've boosted it right here. +1 56 special attack Kommo, Clanging Scales versus Latias, 100% minimum to Latias. So that allows it to knock that out. Drain Punch can also be interchangeable with Close Combat. It did get Close Combat this generation, which is amazing. I'm so happy it finally got a good fighting type move. 2 good fighting type moves. Before we had to use Sky Uppercut, which we were not using. But a lot of time people were using Fight EMZ, but now it doesn't have to use Fight EMZ. But Drain Punch is there, or Close Combat. I actually like Drain Punch a lot. Because this Pokemon is relatively bulky, right? And when it gets +1 in all its stats, it can take hits. It can really take hits. And Drain Punch giving you back that recovery versus Pokemon like Empoleon, Hydreigon, and whatnot, especially if you Dragon Dance up after you go on for your Clanging Scales, because that's the important part as well. When you go for Clanging Scales, you're still slower than Pokemon like Scarf Hydreigon, but you can go for Dragon Dance after, and then you outspeed them because you are +2, and now you have that offensive pressure from Drain Punch. That's why I actually like it over Close Combat. Close Combat, though, is better if you want to, I don't know, end it quicker. I guess that's more appropriate because it is more of a sweeping move. And I guess Close Combat is also a better option if you're only able to Dragon Dance in the game, like if your opponent brought in a Fairy when you're going for your Z move. But I do like Drain Punch, and then Poison Jab again allows you to hit Fairy types like Florges, Sylveon, Mega Altaria, Pokemon like that. But I really do like Drain Punch. Especially because when this thing gets the +1 boost, it can set up on Pokemon like Scizor and just dance up and then just get all that recovery back. So it's really fun. The next set we have, and this is a lot, I've had a lot of success with this set in the UU tier. The next set we have is a Swords Dance, or really just a dance set. Now you can run Dragon Dance or Swords Dance. I prefer Swords Dance because in this tier, especially in the RU tier, Pokemon like Flygon are everywhere, and basically a lot of Pokemon are faster than Kommo-o. A lot of Scarf Pokemon are faster than Kommo-o, specifically Flygon. And as a Dragon Dancer, I think that Flygon can do it better because it does have a ground immunity, can just straight up set up on Gligar, and also doesn't worry like as much about Moonblast as Kommo-o does from like Cresselia or whatnot. Then having Stab Earthquake is really cool because it allows it to deal with the Blade, Devastating Drake. But Swords Dance I think is pretty cool on this Pokemon, and having Close Combat now just makes it that much better. So the set is Jolly Max Speed. I think you always want to go Max Speed. You want to be faster than Pokemon like Nidoqueen in the RU tier. You want to be, let me just put this in RU, that way I can show you because I had it in UU for a second. But you want to be faster than Pokemon like Nidoqueen in the tier. Speed tie with potentially Max Speed Crest, outspeeding Feraligatr. All these are like important benchmarks I feel with this Pokemon, Honchkrow and whatnot. So just being faster than all of them I think is very important. Tyrantrum. So the idea is you abuse those new moves you have, man. So Swords Dance, Outrage, Close Combat, Earthquake. Earthquake is the preferred last move, and again, Soundproof is usually the preferred ability, just because Boom Burst, Swallow is in the tier. I mean, you can run Bulletproof and avoid Shadow Ball and whatnot for maybe like Scarf Gardevoir, but if you have like the Blade out, you can switch between the Blade and Kommo-o. They actually pair really well together, and because the Blade takes on pretty much everything that Kommo-o doesn't like, and Kommo-o does the same thing besides being a ground, not being a ground immunity. But they pair really well together, and so you can switch in Kommo-o and Shadow Ball. But I like Soundproof a lot better for Boom Burst Swallow. Also for Clanging Scales opposing Kommo-o, that's pretty cool. You're able to set up on that, especially if their specs are locked into it. So Swords Dance, Outrage, Close Combat, Earthquake. Earthquake again is the preferred last move because it allows you to hit the Blade, which otherwise walls your first two moves. It also allows you to hit Diancie for +2 super effective damage, and Nidoqueen. So those are some Pokemon why I thought Earthquake was better. I like Dragonium Z. At +2, you do a lot to defensive Crest, 79 and 94. And you can actually knock it out with +2 Close Combat. After that, sorry, I don't know when I cast it on, but you can knock it out with Close Combat and Rocks after that. Sometimes with Rocks up, you can knock out Cresselia with +2 Devastating Drake. So I like that a lot more. A few other options, of course. You can run like sort of similar to Garchomp in the OU tier, like a Swords Dance Stealth Rock type of set. Ice Punch is also an option. This allows you to pick up that KO on Flygon coming in, and more importantly, Gligar at +2. Maybe with like an Icium, but I feel like if you want to use Icium Ice Punch, Rhyperior does it better since of Solid Rock and whatnot. I can get up Rocks as well. Drain Punch is an option, but a lot weaker, but on Swords Dance you can definitely make it work if you don't want to use or get the defense cross from Close Combat and abuse your bulk. And then Iron Head is an option which hits the Yancey, hits Comfy, and basically it allows Kommo-o to hit Fairy types, but it does miss out on the Blade, which I think is very, very crucial, because the Blade is pretty much an all-around answer to Kommo-o. So you want to run something like Earthquake to be able to touch it. Now, RU specs, and like I said, you can run Dragon Dance or Swords Dance, but I think Swords Dance is a little bit better. But this thing is bulkier than Flygon, so maybe like a bulky Dragon Dance set could work. Specs is the next set, and this set has been pretty good in RU. Really annoying to switch into, but it's just Stab, Clanging Scales, Focus Blast, Flash Cannon, Flamethrower. Flash Cannon is there again for Diancie, and the Fairies coming in. You hit Diancie once. They run Spadef, so it actually can tank one, even though it's 4 times effective. I'm pretty sure it can tank one, because I know they've tanked one from me before. But if they can't, great. But yeah, Flash Cannon allows you to hit them. Flamethrower is your answer for the Blade, basically. It's your way of hitting the Blade. You're bulky as hell. You run, again, Soundproof is really good because opposing specs Kommo-o, you're actually switching to. It's funny because if you're running Bulletproof, you can switch into Focus Blast. If you're running Soundproof, you can switch into Clanging Scales. But mainly, just come in, spam your moves. This is really good for tearing through Pokemon. Again, this pairs really well with the Blade because it really appreciates the fact that Kommo-o deals with the physical walls like Gligar, Seismitoad, with just Clanging Scales, and basically lets the Blade be able to set up. So they pair really well together in the RU tier. Next up is an RU Autotomize set. This makes it more of a sweeper. The idea is get to +2 and then abuse Clanging Scales, Focus Blast, Flamethrower. This set is a lot better versus offense, versus bulkier teams, you don't typically have to set up an autotomized, but versus offense, especially teams like Salazzle and whatnot, that Salazzle's in and you have Kommo and set up an autotomize as they switch, and then proceed to sweep through them, especially with spikes and whatnot. Like, this can be used as a straight up sweeper versus those more offensive builds. Flamethrower for the blade, Focus Blast, and Clanging Scales. You can also run Fightium if you don't want to miss Focus Blast, but then it makes all your other attacks weaker, unfortunately. Now, Kommo, excuse me. Kommo, have I been calling it the blade? Oh, please don't tell me I've been calling it the blade. I know I've been talking about the blade a lot because it works well with it, synergetic wise. But it did get Drain Punch in this generation, so I wanted to make a sub bulk up set. Now, EVs are totally customizable. It's really up to you. What I wanted to do was be able to be faster than Nidoqueen. I think that was an important benchmark. Gator as well, just being faster than all of them. And just being able to set up on Gligar. Now, the HP investment means that Gligar never breaks your substitute with Earthquake, and then at +1 it's doing like 16 damage. So never breaks your substitute with Earthquake at neutral, which is really cool because you can avoid a Toxic, you can avoid a knockoff from Gligar, specifically Toxic. And the second thing is at +1, your substitute isn't broken by Iron Head from Max Attack the Blade. And again, sub bulk up Drain Punch, Earthquake. You do give out on coverage versus Psychic types, specifically Cresselia, so you definitely want some sort of support for that. That's why, again, the blade is nice. Even Toxic Luring Chestnut is really cool for something like that. And again, I think Earthquake was really useful because you want to be able to hit Nidoqueen and the blade at the same hit. Otherwise, I could deal with you, especially the blade. Like, if you're able to set up on it because of your bulk, it can work. But again, you can customize the EVs to what you want. I calced it to what I wanted it to do for me specifically, but that's really up to you. Now, a few other options it does have. I've used a sub reversal set with Salak Berry. Very, very solid actually when it does work. Shout out to Cole49, I believe, who made it. Or maybe I mean, it's sub Salak reversal. I've been using that for how many years? We've all been using that for a while, but he made a team that actually worked out for it when I used it. Belly Drum set can also work. Maybe like a Omni boosting Belly Drum set with Drain Punch. That way you get all the +6 attack, and then you can recover it all back with Drain Punch. Maybe a Salak Berry sub Belly Drum Kommo can also work. Taunt could work with Stealth Rock. Some sort of supportive set. A Choice Band or Choice Scarf can also work. I've used Choice Scarf Kommo, which again is pretty decent versus offense, having a good speed tier for Alligator. So the idea is, as well as being able to check Lazo and whatnot. Shaman that's not running Air Slash or Psychic. But the idea is the team already weakens Pokemon like Gator to about 50% anyway, so you use Scarf Kommo, outspeed it, knock it out with Clanging Scales. Choice Band, it does actually have a move pool now where it can abuse that, and maybe on the Choice Band set you can run Outrage, Close Combat, and then it would be like maybe Ice Punch, Iron Head / Earthquake. Ice Punch would only be there again for Gligar if you are using it in the tier. If you go up to OU, maybe something like Ice Punch could work, but I'd go more of like a special set with this, and then maybe like Earthquake for Toxapex, Tapu Koko, or you can keep running Poison Jab. It's really like it's a really customizable Pokemon depending on what you want it to hit, right? It just depends on the coverage that you have on the team. So that's all I have to say about Kommo. Very fun. Expect the video later in UU with Kommo. Also, feel free to check out the Friends shirt. It's only available for 8 more days, limited edition. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye, friends.